wait a few minutes for people watching this live to hop on. For those of y'all watching this later, grab a couple of blocks if you have them, and at least 2 blankets. And those can work if you don't have blocks, but even if you do have blocks, you might want the blankets. 6:30 came awfully fast for me this morning. We're almost at the end of our challenge. Tomorrow is the last day, so yeah, I hope you guys have been participating and enjoying this. Give it a couple more minutes. And this will be a 60-minute Yin plus Yang class. So we'll start with the Yin portion, which will be slower, more passive holds, and then transition to a Yang type practice where we're moving a little bit more and flowing. It seems like 6:30 came early for others as well, so we'll just hang out until a couple minutes after before we get started. I know a few folks have been watching these after the fact pretty consistently, so that's been awesome to see. Good morning. I'm going to take a minute or two just to set up for me, and we'll get started in, let's say, 2 minutes. So grab and a couple of blocks if you have them. If not, you'll be okay without them as long as you have like 2 blankets. Just take these first couple of moments before we officially get started to ground yourself, settle into your space. Just one more minute. Okay, we'll go ahead and begin. So my name is Tessa. I'm in Houston, and this class will be a 60-minute or so or less Yin+Yang class. So we'll start with the Yin portion of practice with some slower, kind of more passive holds, and then we'll get moving in the Yang portion and do a little bit of flow. So for our first pose, we'll go ahead and get set up in square pose. So for square, let's start with left shin stacked on top of right. So shin over shin. If this does not work for your hips or your knees this morning, you can just bring your left shin in front of your right, sort of in this broken cross-legged seat, or you can just take a cross-legged seat here. But wherever you are, left leg is on top or in front. You might want to sit up on a blanket here. And start to deepen your breath. You can allow your eyes to close here so you can settle into your space. We'll start with a little neck release. So reach your left arm out to the side and then lower your fingertips down, either to the ground or you can even sit on your hand here. And then let your right ear fall towards your shoulder. You can stay here or bring your right hand to the top of your head. And without pulling, just allowing your elbow, your hand to add a little bit of extra gravity to deepen this stretch. So as we move through class today, I invite you to share the intention of joyful movement. So, just in terms of our society, exercise is often something that's not so joyful. It can be something punitive or something we feel like we have to do under fear of disease or illness. There can also be these messages that if we don't engage in movement or exercise, that we're bad or lazy. And then on top of that, exercise is often wielded in a way to shrink or change our body, like it's something that's broken or that it's wrong and we have to fix it through exercise. These messages show up so often, even in seemingly innocent comments, or if we're in a class and we hear something about, oh, this will get us ready for our beach body, or something just silly like that. And just pro tip, to have a beach body, all you have to do is take your body to the beach. So shifting that of exercise into something joyful. Bring your right hand to the side of your head and help bring it back to center. Release both hands. Uncross your legs and switch. This time, right shin stacks on top of left, or right shin in front of left. Sit up really tall. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. And reach your right arm out to the side. Lower your fingertips down, or even snuggle that hand underneath your hip or thigh. Let your left ear fall towards your left shoulder for a neck release. You can choose whether to stay here or if you want to bring your left hand to the top of your head just to deepen the stretch along the side of your neck. Allow your eyes to soften or close. And just check in with yourself if the intention I offered didn't resonate with you of joyful movement. You know what you need, so feel free to connect with your own intention here. Notice if there's anywhere you're holding or gripping in your body. And allow that to let go. During these yin portions, I like to sort of intersperse times where I offer things, where I'm talking and sharing, and then times of silence for you to be introspective and reflect. As we're in these poses for a few minutes each, just notice how they change over time. Bring your left hand to the side of your head, help it back to center, uncross, and we'll come to child's pose and twisted child's pose. So you may want to bring something under your knees in this child's pose since we're here for a few minutes. And toes can be together, knees wide, or knees can be closer together. If you're experiencing compression in this position, you can roll up a blanket and place it between your ankles and your hips here. And extend your arms out long. And we'll move right into a twisted child's pose. So find your left hand, thread it under your right, and then lower the left side of your head to the mat or to another blanket or block. With your right arm still reaching out long. So checking back in with that idea of joyful movement. How can we connect in a way that is truly joyful to our bodies? Moving in a way that feels fun, that feels like play. Studies have actually shown that when we're stressed by exercise, so this could be like running or using the elliptical or something that maybe you don't actually enjoy. Like if you know that running doesn't feel good, but you still force yourself to do it. Or if you drag yourself to the gym even though you don't really enjoy, the surroundings or whatever it may be. When we're stressed by exercise, we don't actually get all the benefits, all the endorphins, the same endorphins, or the like antioxidant effects. We don't get all of those. Whereas when we're doing something that's really fun, that's really enjoyable, we get more benefits just from our health. So how can we find that? I invite you to reflect on what joyful movement looks like for you. And that might mean letting go of any formal definitions of exercise. But what ways, and in what ways do you have fun, experience joy that happen to involve moving your body? Slowly unwind, come back to center. And then switch sides, thread right arm under left. Bring the side of your right temple to the earth or a blanket or a block. Let go of any unnecessary movements here. And see if you can settle into stillness. to a tabletop. Take any little movements just to get some blood flow back into your hips. And then come all the way down to your front for Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx, prop yourself on your forearms, shoulders stacked over elbows, forearms are parallel. And if you have a block, you're welcome to bring it highest height to support your head here. Allow your head and neck to relax or to be neutral. Let your shoulders melt away from your ears. So we talked about what moving joyfully might actually mean, and letting go of those ideas of exercise and what that's supposed to be. And now check in with what forms of movement are not joyful for you that you might be engaging in. And are you able or willing to let go of them? And the answer may be no, and that's totally valid. But I invite you to get curious with yourself and your relationship with movement. If you'd like to take seal here, point your fingers now so that they're more towards the top corners of your mat, and start to straighten through your elbows. If you press up to seal and there's any pain, come back down to Sphinx. Let go of any gripping in your glutes. And if you're looking for more sensation, you can start to walk your hands in a little closer towards your body. And resisting any urge to grip anywhere. Come down to Sphinx if you're in seal. And then come all the way down and roll over onto your back. So we'll start transitioning to the yang portion of our practice. So we'll start engaging a little bit with our core and with different muscles. So if you have a block, grab it and reach your arms overhead. Try to scooch so you can see my hands. So your hands are pressing onto either side of the block. Thumbs are facing down towards the earth. If you don't have a block, you can still do this motion and feel for an imaginary block that you're squeezing between your hands. Start to engage through your legs. Flex your toes towards your shins. Maybe take a peek at them. If your toes are angling out, spin your inner thighs down towards the mat so your toes are pointing straight up towards the ceiling, like you were standing. Your legs and feet are that engaged. If there's a big arch in your low back, draw your low belly in, press your low back into the mat. This will protect your low back as we do some core stuff here. Squeeze the block, strong arms, and draw your shoulders away from your ears. So this should be really active here. Start to hover your right ankle off of the mat, and then lift your right leg and your hands and block towards your toes. Draw your low belly down. Inhale, lower. Your block hovers, your heel hovers off of the mat. Exhale, lift, reach. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. On each lower, we're hovering. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. This time, hold here. Reach out through your arms. Press your shoulder blades into the mat at the same time. Flex your toes. And then slowly lower everything down. Nice. Squeeze your block once more, especially with the pinky side of your hand. Draw your low belly down, press your low back into the mat. Hover your left ankle. Exhale, reach fingertips towards foot, foot to fingertips. Inhale, lower to hover. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lower. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lower. Keep low belly engaged as you move. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lower. Exhale, reach. Pause here. Squeeze the block. Flex your toes. Draw your low belly down. And lower all the way. Release your block. Bring your arms by your sides. And then bend your knees so the soles of your feet are on the mat. Cross right ankle over left thigh for a figure 4 shape. Flex your right toes here. Draw your front hip points towards your bottom ribs. Curl your tailbone in. Press through your left foot and lift your hips. Figure 4 bridge lift. And then slowly lower down, rolling down the length of your spine. On an inhale, lift your hips. And on an exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. This time, pause. Maybe lift your hips a little higher. Lengthen through your inner right thigh. And lower all the way down. Uncross. Other side. Left ankle over your right thigh. Press down through your right foot. Draw your front hip points towards your bottom ribs. Inhale, lift your hips. Exhale, lower down. Flex your left toes. On an inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Pause. Stay in this lift. Lengthen through your inner left thigh like you're trying to send your left knee towards the mat. Lift a little higher. And then lower all the way down. Uncross. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock a little side to side. And then start to rock forward and back. Massaging your spine. And it's just fun. And then maybe you rock yourself all the way up to standing. Come to the top of your mat. Stand up tall and sit low, chair pose. Reach your arms in line with your ears, active fingertips. Maybe you lift your toes off of the mat. Feel for sending your tailbone towards the back corner of your room. Maybe you start to hover your right foot and cross figure 4, right ankle over left thigh. Flex your right toes. Sit deeper in your chair. Bring hands to heart center. Inhale, lengthen your chest. And exhale, maybe you start to fold. Bringing elbows towards your shin. Keeping your hips low. Resisting the urge to straighten that left leg. Lengthen your chest. Slowly come out the way you came. Arms overhead. Draw your right knee to your chest. And then step your right foot all the way back. Spin that back heel down. Line up your front heel with your back arch. Setting up for warrior 2. Reach your arms out to the sides. Deep bend in your front knee. Take a peek down. If you can't see your big toe, send your left knee towards the pinky toe side of your foot. Lengthen through your inner left thigh. On an inhale, press down through your front leg. Straighten it. Reach up. Exhale, rebend, warrior 2. Inhale, reach up. Straighten. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten, reach up. And exhale, rebend. Hold here. Press powerfully through the pinky toe side of your back foot. Draw your front hip points towards your bottom ribs. Lengthen your low back. Feel for engagement in your back leg. Nice, strong warrior 2. One more inhale here. And exhale, bring your hands to the earth. Step back to a plank. Pause here. And then lower your knees down. Come all the way down. Chaturanga, elbows tweezed in. Brush your toes back. On an inhale, peel your shoulders, your collarbones up for cobra. And exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, 3-legged dog. Bend that top knee, open across your hip like you're lifting your right knee towards the ceiling. Maybe you take some knee circles here, going one direction then the other. Or you could choose just to stay in this stretch, opening across your hip. Spin your right shoulder down to the mat so your chest is still square to the earth. Re-straighten your right leg, rotate your hip down, and lower right foot down dog. Look between your thumbs and taking as many little steps as you can, tiptoe all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sit low, reach up. Hover your left foot. Draw that knee in towards your chest. And then cross left ankle over right thigh. Figure 4 chair. Bring hands to heart center. Sit low. Maybe stay here. Maybe you start to hinge and fold, bringing elbows towards your shin. Lengthen your spine. Sit lower in your chair. Come out the way you came. Lift your chest. Draw your knee into your chest. And come back to your chair pose. One inhale here. And then step that left foot all the way back. Warrior 2. Spin your left heel down, deep bend in your right knee. On an inhale, straighten through your front leg, reach up. Exhale, rebend, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more, inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend, sit really low. Right knee stacks on top of that ankle. Strong back leg. And on your next exhale, bring your hands to the earth. Step back to plank. Knees up or down. Lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Bend that knee, stack left hip on top of right. Maybe you take some knee circles here. Or maybe you just hold in this stretch, opening across your hip as you spin your left shoulder down. Re-straighten through that leg, spin your left hip down, and step your left foot next to your right, down dog. Look between your thumbs, bend your knees at the bottom of your exhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root down, rise all the way up, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, chair pose, sit low. Hover your right foot, another figure four chair. Bring your hands to heart center. Maybe you stay here, maybe you fold again, elbows towards your shins. Maybe this time, reach your fingertips down towards the mat or to blocks. Resist the urge to straighten that left leg. Keep it bent like it's in chair. Come out one step at a time, being mindful how you got there. Back to chair and straight to the other side. Draw your left knee in towards your chest and then cross left ankle over right thigh. Flex those left toes. Hands to heart center and choose. Stay upright, fold elbows towards your shin, or reach hands towards the earth or to blocks. Rebend your right knee. Mindfully, one step at a time, make your way out back to chair. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back to plank. Lower your knees down. Pause here. Spread your fingers really wide. Then start to rock your shoulders forward so they stack over your wrists. Keeping elbows tweezed in. Lower halfway down. And press back up like chaturanga push-ups. Rock forward. Lower halfway and press back up. Rock forward, halfway down and press up. And now you choose, stay on your knees or lift your knees. If your knees are lifted, rock forward onto your toes. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Or lower all the way down and lift for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look between your thumbs, step your right foot through, spin your back heel down, line up front heel with back heel. Spin your left toes in, rise up for warrior one, deep bend in your front knee. Draw your right hip back as you reach your left hip forward. Strong back leg. One more inhale here, and exhale, bring your hands to the earth, step back to plank, knees up or down, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Look between your thumbs. Step your left foot through. Spin your back heel down. Pin your left hip in. Rise up, warrior one. Draw left hip back and right hip forward. Press through the heel of your back foot, pinky toe side especially. And exhale, hands to the earth, step back to plank, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Look between your thumbs, bend your knees at the bottom of your exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. And start to sit even lower. As low as you can. Maybe your heels come up so you sit all the way down. Ooh, boat pose. Navasana. For boat, hands can be behind your knees. Lift your chest. If you can keep your chest lifted, arms can be out frame in your legs. Knees can be bent or straight. Inhale, lift your chest. And then we're making our way back to chair pose. So, you can rock and roll using momentum. The most creative, fun way you could think to get there. Ooh. However you got there is beautiful and perfect. Chair. And we get to try it again. So sit lower and lower. All the way down. Boat. Just a couple breaths here. And then back to chair. Remember, we're just playing. It's fun. And inhale, Tadasana, come to standing. All right, we're gonna have a little bit of playtime. Lots of fun options. So sit your hips low for chair. Reach your arms up. And figure four chair. Draw your right knee in, cross. Bring hands to heart center. So, you have lots of options here. You can stay upright, just working on sitting deeper. You could bring elbows towards your shins and play with using your elbows to traction your spine really long. You can play with that fold, fingertips to the earth or hands to blocks with that deep bend in your knee. Or if you're feeling really spicy and you want to try an arm balance this morning, there's a flying pigeon option here. For flying pigeon, you're in this fold with your hands on the earth. And for me, I need to walk my hands way forward in my foot to make this work, but that's just my body. But for flying pigeon, with that right foot that we've been flexing, you'll hook that foot around the outside of your left arm. You'll plant your palms, bend your elbows a lot like chaturanga, and feel for balancing your right shin on the shelf of your arms right above your elbow. Maybe you just play with sending your weight forward towards your fingertips, maybe hopping that back foot, maybe it lifts and you hold it, maybe you straighten that back leg, I don't know. There's lots of things you can do here. When you're done playing, come out the way you came, one step at a time, all the way back to chair, and stand up straight between sides. That's a lot. And then we'll have our playtime on the other side. So sit low, chair, hover your left foot, figure four, chair, flex those left toes, and choose your option. Stay upright, sitting low. Bring elbows towards shins, lengthening your spine. Work on the fold, bringing your fingertips to the earth or to blocks, bending your right knee a lot, or play with your arm balance, planting your palms, hooking that right or that left foot around the outside of your right arm, bringing that shin to the shelf of your bent arms. Maybe you just hop that back foot. Maybe it stays lifted. And play for as long as you want to play. And then slowly, mindfully, come back out to chair. Oh, and Tadasana. Yay. Inhale, reach up, Utthita Hastasana in Tadasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back to plank. Lower, halfway, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Look forward past your hands. Bend your knees. And step or jump to a seat. The top of your mat. Extend your legs out long. If you have a blanket, maybe you come to sit on your blanket here. Flex your toes towards your shins. Sit up tall, bring hands to either sides of your hips. Lift your chest. And exhale, tuck your chin, Dandasana or staff pose. Lower your shoulders away from your ears. Untuck your chin. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold. Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Hands can be either sides of your legs, or grabbing for ankles or feet or toes. Draw your sternum towards your toes, long spine. And let your head and neck relax. There's a lot of tension in your hamstrings. Bend your knees here so your spine can stay long. Rise back up. And separate your legs for straddle forward fold or Upavista Konasana. Point or flex your toes. Inhale, get tall. And exhale, fold between your legs. Same applies here. If there's a lot of tension in your hamstrings, bend your knees. Walk yourself back up. Draw your knees in and come to laying down on your back. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Maybe give a little rock side to side here. And then give your hips a lift and scooch to the right. So you're a little crooked on your mat, and then let your knees fall to the left for a twist. Extend your right arm out long to the side. And if it feels okay in your neck, send your gaze over your right fingertips. And start to check in with yourself here. Did you have fun in your practice today? And if the answer is no, how can you reconnect with your joy? What form of movement might that look like? Bring your knees back center. Give your hips a big lift and scooch to the left so you're crooked the other way. And then let your knees fall right. Send your left arm out long and gaze to the left. Bring your knees back center. Straighten out your hips. And take any last movements your body's craving. And we'll settle into our final resting pose of Shavasana. Legs out long. And I recommend whatever form of Shavasana that you take, that you have something to cover your eyes. Either one of those blankets or anything else that you have around you. And we'll be here for a few minutes, and know I will bring you out when it's time. So allow yourself to drop in. Start to see yourself on your mat and see all the joyful splendor that exists within you. Maybe you give it a color in your mind's eye. Take a deep inhale, nourishing that splendor. See it getting brighter and more intense with your inhales. On your exhale, see that joyful splendor shine out of your fingers and your toes. Inhale into your joy as if you were charging it. Exhale, see it shine out of your fingers and toes and crown of your head. One more energizing inhale. See it getting brighter. And exhale, see that joy shine out from every part of your body. Start to bring awareness to your hands and to your feet. Notice where they're making contact with the earth or the mat. Bring in any tiny movements that feel authentic, pleasant. And when you're ready, gently roll yourself onto either side. Bring your hands to the earth and press yourself up to a seat. Let your head come up last. Thank you so much for trusting me with your practice today. I hope you've enjoyed the challenge that Tamika has curated for us. And yeah, my name is Tessa. It was a pleasure. Just be signing off in just a second here.